Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it is December 2nd, 2023. Thea and I are in the house. Just got done doing morning chores and all that sort of thing.
And Kevin made a fire over here, so it's nice and comfy for us.
Yeah, just started a small fire in our little Yodel stove. And today's video is going to be a little bit about the Tesla Cybertruck. This video is not intended for people who have been following Tesla for years and have been watching all of the latest Tesla videos and all. This is more about our experience and some of the opportunities and decision making we're going to have to do here with our new Tesla Cybertruck. Two other things I would say is one thing, if we're behind on me creating some of the videos that we've had requests in the past for. For example, people want an update on Suki. Suki is a Kubota RTV 1100 with a cab and all. That's really what Thea drives, and really it's with the two of us being around to go over that. So we'll try to get to that sometime soon before the weather gets much worse. And I am interested if you want any further updates on the other equipment, the Takushi TB290, that's the excavator Elan, the Takushi TL12 V2 track loader, that's the Hulk, Optimus Maximus, that's the big Grand L 6060 Kubota tractor with a big snowblower on it, Mini-Me, the Kubota B2601, the Kawasaki Pepe, that utility vehicle I mainly use all the time. So if you're interested in more information on those anytime soon, let me know in the comments. That would be helpful. But back to the Tesla story here. We bought Crystalline Light is her name. Thea named the car. It's really Thea's car. It is a 2020 Tesla Model Y, and we've had it 3 years and 3 months at this point. And what are your thoughts about it right now?
I love it. I just looked up to see how much mileage, we put on it just a minute ago, and it's 26,619 miles. And so less than 10,000 a year now that I'm retired and not traveling back and forth, commuting to work to Syracuse, from Oswego and all. But I love it. I love that it's updated. I don't know how you say, over the air.
Yeah, over the air updates, yeah.
Updates from the company. So it's actually improves. I've never had a car that got better, with age, all these years. She handles well in the snow. I like all the, amenities, how it will auto steer and how
autopilot.
Autopilot.
Yep.
You have to have your hands on the wheel, they say, and everything too, and be, cognizant of what you're doing. But sometimes the camera sees something before the human sees something alongside the road, or someone slowed down real fast in front of you and, and help you out. So all those little things, I really like. I love not going to the gas station, especially in the winter or the rain. We just plug it in at home, and really the energy comes from the solar panels in the backyard. So that's a savings, and it's also, very convenient, for us. So all in all, it's comfortable. It's, we both have lower back issues, and it's really comfortable for us, driving. If we go for a little longer trip, I have to wash it more than I do, but it's on my do list.
Yeah, the Tesla seats are the most comfortable that I've ever been in. I used to dread going for any trips whatsoever, but nowadays with a Model Y in the seats, it's enjoyable. The other thing that I would say with the autopilot is I can spend less time really concentrating, focusing on the road, and really enjoy things. Now I'm still paying attention to what's going on, but it's with the lane keeping and the adaptive cruise control, it knows enough to brake and all. which is absolutely fine. And when we drive it in the mountains, the regenerative braking system on it, it's just constant. You're shocked that the battery, you're not using that much energy with the battery.
And some people might not, they don't follow Tesla, know what regenerative braking means. Basically, there's the same amount of pedals that, in another car, there's, acceleration and the brake, but we hardly ever use the brake because as soon as you take your foot off or back down on the accelerator, it slows down and brakes. Like lots of times if you're just planning ahead and you say, oh, there's a red light coming up, and you take your foot off, you'll just coast to a stop by the time you get to the red light if you don't have it on the autopilot at all. The other thing is at that time when it's doing it, you're charging the battery. So it's a win-win situation.
So the electric motor turns into a generator charging the battery as you let your foot off the accelerator, which is really nice.
And you're not wearing out your brakes as much, right?
Yeah. There's no wear and tear on our brakes. The only expenses we have is windshield washer fluid.
Yeah.
And we did buy a set of winter wheels and tires when we first got it 3 years ago. And but that's it. So there's no regular maintenance that's got to be done. Just top off your windshield wiper fluid.
Oh yeah, I mean it's so oil to change. It's not loud. I just don't like loud sounds, and it's just wonderful.
And we always get comments about it. People always notice the Model Y, even though it doesn't look that dissimilar from other vehicles. But people will say, "Here comes a spaceship."
Yeah, my lady said that. But it's nice. But now there's more in town. Like I'll notice, even though we're in the country, that someone's driving one, and lots of times they're kind of cute. They might flash their lights at you or something like that. So it's a comfortable car, a safe car, low maintenance. I don't have a lot to do with it except hose it off once in a while. It's just great.
Yeah, and it's really a big relief for me because with all the equipment that we have, I have regular routine maintenance that I have to do all the time.
Oh, and also it's amazing how much room you have in that vehicle. Because we're not using Kevin's truck, it's just kind of there for emergency, the old one. At this point, was it
it's a
20-something
years
old?
It's going to be 21 years old in a couple months.
The Avalanche, which has been a really good truck and all, but we don't use it. So like when we go to the transfer station, with our recyclables and stuff like that, I put the seats down in Suki, and I can fit 4 of the big garbage cans in the back of that car.
Yeah, these are probably 40-gallon garbage cans.
Like the Rubbermaid kind,
the big Rubbermaid ones.
Yeah.
And it hauls. So we also resell books. So we'll go to an estate sale or to a library and buy up a whole bunch of books when there's a sale, and then take them back here. And books weigh a lot, so we have boxes and boxes and boxes. You stack them in the back of there, and it's a good grocery getter. When you go to the feed store and get supplies there at the feed store,
You fit in all those maple trees.
Yeah.
Those little Japanese maples we bought, we were like, is that gonna fit in here? It did.
Yeah, so it hauls an awful lot. It's very economical, and we have the solar panels here, so it hasn't cost us anything for other than the initial price of the vehicle, the taxes, the insurance on it, and the regular registration, and an annual or every 2-year annual inspection. So that's what the costs are for it. So it's been a very wise investment. Now, full disclosure, we're very invested in Tesla as a company. We're shareholders. So, and the things that I'm going to say aren't investment advice, but we've been very happy with our investments. And back 4 years ago in November, so just over 4 years ago, I did a pre-order for the Tesla Cybertruck, and it's futuristic looking, it's somewhat similar to a Lamborghini and a DeLorean in some respects. It is a truck. It's stainless steel. It's angular, and I'll try and include some video clips from Tesla's site that they just released some of the new information from their testing that they've been doing with the vehicle. So just 2 days ago, on November 30th, they started releasing. They started. Releasing the vehicles to the first customers.
And they call it their launch date, and people came pick up their vehicles.
And the company is located. The factory that produces the Cybertrucks is located in Austin, Texas, and that's a new factory. It's one of their Giga factories, and that's where our truck will be produced. And so I guess what I'll talk about some of the. It took 4 years for them to design the new battery technology that's in the system, the new Giga Castings system, the skateboard design. Now we have the skateboard design in the Tesla Model Y. But there's so many new things that are in the Cybertruck that are new to the whole automotive industry. One of the things, like aircraft have had fly-by-wire for many years, and so the Cybertruck actually has steer-by-wire. So the steering wheel doesn't have a steering column. It's electrical contacts that transmit that information as you're adjusting the steering wheel to the drivetrain for the wheel motors and all. And the actuators that direct the direction of the wheels. It has 4-wheel steering as well. So not only do the front wheels turn when you decide to turn, if you're going below 30, 40 miles an hour, when the front wheels turn to the right, the rear wheels will turn to the left to decrease the turning radius. So as a pretty good sized pickup truck, it's going to be able to turn on a dime almost. It's about as rugged as can be. One of the demonstrations that you'll see if I add on the videos at the end of here is they use a Tommy gun, and I think they're 45s shooting, unloading, I think 50 rounds into it. They'll use a shotgun with buckshot shooting the doors on the Cybertruck. This is all stainless steel, and they use a 9mm gun as well. And so like in the movies, when people stand behind the vehicle door and exchange fire with the bad guys or the good guys, whoever it is, the doors don't offer any protection whatsoever. Bullets go right through it. So if you were to take those guns and shoot them through my Avalanche or Pinto or Camry, they go through one door, through the center of the cabin, and out the other door. That's how things would work. So this is, you potentially call it bulletproof since it doesn't actually penetrate all the way through the door. It has armored glass as well. I believe it's Gorilla Glass. It's a 3 laminated layer with a plastic in between the glass sections, and they're special glass, which is a special aluminized compound that's transparent. So they're really rough and tough. Their windshield is like it's a big wedge shape. I really like the wedge shape design for the windshield. The closest thing I've ever driven that had almost a wedge shape, but not really, is the Camry, the Prius, the Toyota Prius. And as long as you're cruising along at a relatively reasonable rate of speed, the snow as it's coming down never actually touches the windshield. I don't know that that'll happen with the Cybertruck, but hopefully it will happen as well. So the steer-by-wire is an amazing asset for driving. So when you're in a parking lot, you only have to go 170 degrees. So in order to do a 3-point turn or to navigate into places, instead of doing hand over hand like you have to do with most vehicles or trucks, to maneuver and back into locations. It's really 170 degrees, so your hands are never having to let go of the steering wheel and go over it. And when you're on the highway at high rates of speed, just small motion like this will help to keep the vehicle stabilized. So it auto adjusts to the rate of speed that you're driving the steer-by-wire. One of the things that's really interesting that Tesla has also done with the Cybertruck is, and they'll be doing it with their future vehicles as they develop them, is they've switched from a 12-volt electrical architecture inside of the vehicle. So when you get into your vehicle, whether gasoline-powered, diesel-powered, you've got radios, you've got lighting, you've got all sorts of things that are run off of a 12-volt battery. And to conserve on weight and energy, they switched to 48-volt architecture. So the 48-volt system really reduces the size of the wiring harnesses to like Cat5, like network cable, very, very thin cable, which really reduces the cost of manufacturing of the vehicle, and it also reduces the weight of the vehicle and therefore increases the efficiency of the vehicle. Another big innovation that the Cybertruck has is switching to an 800-volt battery architecture for the skateboard, the main batteries that power the motors in the vehicle. And that allows for much more rapid recharging. So when you pull into a supercharger, you can go from 15%, or let's say you've got about 25 miles, and I don't know the exact numbers, but 25 miles of range left, and you want to get back up to, let's say, get it up to 280 miles. It may only take 15 minutes to gain that amount of range. So it's with the 800-volt architecture, being able to recharge those batteries rapidly is really a big advantage. Instead of spending twice as long, spending 25-30 minutes to get up to the charge. Whenever you're going at the extreme ends of a battery, so we never let our car get below 20%, and we don't charge it over 80%. But we're able to go, and this is the Model Y, go to back and forth from Oswego to Rochester, around there, go to different shops in the area, come back here, and we still have plenty. We could go to Syracuse again if we wanted to. So we have plenty of range with our Tesla Model Y, but it's a slower charging process. Now we just plug it in here and it charges up overnight. And we've never had an issue with range at any point, even if we decide to do something different. So the 800-volt architecture for the battery technology really is going to be a big game changer for the future for people worried about getting that range, how much time they have to stop and all. After you've been driving for 3 hours, stopping for 20 minutes, most people use the restroom or get a drink, so that would be something. Trying to think, and the Cybertruck also has the minimalistic design features, so there's really just a great big 18-inch screen and a few controls on your steering wheel. And how do you like the minimalistic design of your car?
Oh, I like it. The less buttons, junk as I call it, around, neat and clean. I like that. And also what does the Cybertruck have in the back? Different size plugs.
That's right. So there's 110 or 120 and 220 or 240 volt, depending on where you're located, how you describe it. So you can, I can plug in a welder into the back of the truck. I can plug in camping gear or anything you want to do that if you want to cook in a small cook set. Don't do that, honey. She's rubbing up against it. So you could do hair drying. So it's designed to be able to go places and do things. If I want to plug in my table saw into it, I could plug the table saw into it, the welder. I believe that, I don't know if there's an outlet in the front. I can't remember. That's the front trunk.
I don't think in the front.
Okay.
I'm not sure. But what about charging your house?
So one of the things that's really interesting about this Cybertruck is it has the ability to get charged like we charge. We plug in our car here. But let's say Thea's battery got really low. If we wanted to, we could drive the Cybertruck to where she is, plug her car into the Cybertruck, and charge her car. So it has vehicle-to-vehicle charging abilities. It has vehicle-to-home charging abilities. So during a storm outage or whatever, you could charge your home. If you already have Tesla Powerwalls, which we don't have, those are installed. We'll probably be doing that in a few years. But that would be one way. Now the battery that's in the Cybertruck probably could easily power a conventional home for 3 days, all of the needs that they want. So that would be a wonderful asset. Monroe Live, Sandy Monroe, who I've talked about before in videos, he had a huge conference coming to his building, and they had a power outage, and they took their Ford Lightning, which is the Ford's electric vehicle pickup truck, and they were able to plug in the building into the Ford truck, and it saved their butts because they were able to do all the lighting, do all of the things that they needed to do to have their conference. So the same thing with the Cybertruck. So you'll have, charge your vehicle from home, charge your vehicle from a supercharger, be able to charge other vehicles from your vehicle, be able to charge your home from the vehicle. Now, when Tesla first talked about building these Cybertrucks 4 years ago, one of the things that they talked about was getting one that could go up to like a 500-mile range. And this is one of the things we've got to think about because the one that I had ordered has a 340-mile maximum range. And for 99% of everything that we would be doing, other than one bit of construction, that would meet all of our needs for traveling and all. And stopping someplace after 300 miles is no big deal. Now, during cold weather days, and we have very cold, icy, terribly cold days here in New York, and one of the things you always have to be concerned about is it decreases the range of the vehicle. So you do prep it beforehand. In other words, while it's plugged in the garage, you just say condition the battery, and it brings it up to temperature, and then the battery will function normally without losing much range. Now, when there's snow and slush and ice, there is some loss when you're, just like with our gas vehicles, you just don't get as good a mileage. But one of the things is towing, and when you're towing with a gasoline vehicle, diesel, or an electric vehicle, there's a lot of extra resistance and drag with towing a vehicle, so the range gets basically cut in half. At least that's what I'm anticipating. So a 340-mile range vehicle is fantastic for charging your home for the next 3 days, or if you cut back on things, probably get 5-6 days out of charging your home with that battery. But if you're going to be hauling heavy stuff, and I've thought about getting a new dump trailer, a Diamond C dump trailer, and with that I'd be hauling stone to be able to rebuild our roads here. The gravel that I can get is only so good. It just doesn't pack as well as a nice finished stone. So do I spend the money on getting the new trailer and getting an accessory battery? So Tesla also has the option of getting basically 1/3 more of the battery to increase the range to, I can't remember, it's 430 miles, something like that range, which would meet all of our needs for long trips and all that. And it probably would allow me to go to the mines to pick up the stone that I have to get because it's not nearby, and get a couple loads a day which would work out. So I have to decide if that's something. The other reason that I think about getting the accessory battery, now when you get an accessory battery, these batteries are heavy. So this is something that I think the factory the service will install, the service center would install. I don't think you'd be able to unplug it and put it in your garage, but that adds extra weight, which decreases your range as well. So it's always something to think about. Do we really want to get that accessory battery? There are some other accessories that I've thought about getting with the Cybertruck.
Oh, what are they?
And I can't remember them right now. But there are some other accessories that, and again, they're just coming out new now. But the Cybertruck, I think, so our number is somewhere in the 3,200 range is where I believe our vehicle is. Because of the price being more expensive than 4 years ago when they had anticipated that they'd be able to, so they thought that they'd be able to get the factory up and start producing these Cybertrucks about 2 years ago. But then COVID came, the prices of everything went up, interest rates went up and everything. So it's been challenging for them to get everything right and get it dialed in. And with the technologies that they brought forth with just some of the ones that I've mentioned so far, it really took a lot of engineering and a lot of hard work on their part, and I'm super excited. One of the most basic reasons that I want the vehicle is because with the Giga Castings or Mega Castings, these are a special aluminum alloy that Tesla has created. Now, will there be some corrosion with our salt? There probably will be some corrosion, but I don't think it'll affect the longevity of it. The rest of the truck is actually an exoskeleton, and it's made out of the stainless steel. That's a very special formula that they send into space and reuse the rockets. So it's really amazing. So I really want to have something like the Avalanche has been great. Doesn't get nearly the mileage that the Cybertruck will get, but it's been a good truck. But it is rusting like crazy. We live in a snow country, and we get lots of salt, and that really breaks down the metal over time. So I really like to make an investment in something and keep it for a long, long period of time. And based on our experiences so far with the almost negligible battery degradation over the last 3 years and 3 months, I'm tickled pink with how well the battery technology has evolved over time with Tesla. And these are their new state-of-the-art batteries, the 4680s that are in the Cybertruck. So, is there anything else you can think about right now with a Cybertruck and all?
No, I'm just excited to get in it and take it for a drive.
Yeah, with some of the testing that they did do, and there'll be a couple of videos that I'll include at the end of this, but you'll see when they compare it to racing a Porsche 911. They beat the Porsche 911, and they're towing another 911 behind it when they beat it. They use the firearms as described to demonstrate the toughness of the vehicle. They actually, for hauling, they compare it to an F-350, to the Rivian, to the Ford Lightning, and they compare it to, I think, a F-250 as well, and it pulls more as well. So there's some really good videos that'll show up at the end of this. Those are the things I think about.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
I'm pretty excited too. I just got to decide about batteries and possibilities of a couple of other accessories. I really want to have something that I can not worry about getting beat up and all. I love the stainless steel. There's no chips or cracks in the paint. There's very little chance of denting. If it gets scratched, it'll be able to get buffed out. And I like a good, solid, hardy workhorse, and I think this is going to be it.
And I like the safety of it. You know, they show the crash test, and you know, it's amazing. I mean, you are probably going to live if you've got an accident, you know, with that animal. So, yeah, so hopefully we'll be getting it next year sometime, maybe early.
Who knows? We'll have to see.
How, we don't know. Do you have to go down and pick it up, or?
No, they'll transfer it. They'll transfer it up close or whatever.
That'd be good.
So we'll see. So that's it for today's video. Stay tuned. I'll add a couple of clips from the Tesla website so you can see some of the testing we've talked about, and I'll put a link to the Haggerty review. My nephew Jim sent me a link to it last night, and he really runs it through some tests as well. So thanks so much for watching. Stay safe and take good care of yourselves.
Take care. Good to see you guys again. Keep smiling.
Bye-bye.
This is a self-propelled sled. It pulls itself backwards. This weighs about 35,000 pounds. As the box moves forward, it increases the weight onto the pan, which is here on the ground, causing the driver to go no further.
The sled will always win. It's got so much weight behind it. The mark of success here is as far forward along the track as you can get. Today we've got a couple vehicles here. Having the vehicles fully charged matters because that's when you have your peak power. Making sure they're all fully charged really gets us on the same playing field. We wanted to bring not just an EV competitor, so we also looked at what is a great internal combustion engine vehicle that's got huge towing capacity and great capability. Tractive power is really how much can you get that power from the motor to the ground. Truck Pull is a showcase of power and tractive power of the truck, and that translates directly to on-the-road towing, towing your boat, towing your payload. What we've designed the truck to be is like really comfortable, really stable, really powerful at high payloads, and that gives you the ability to be confident on road. In order to make this a really apples-to-apples comparison, we're running them as they come straight from the factory, so
stock tires. They're running at a curb weight plus driver. A heavier truck in this kind of event will typically give you more momentum with the truck itself. So coming in here with a truck that's one of the lightest in this group, if not the lightest, and outpulling everybody else, really says something about the capabilities of the vehicle.
We've already tested shopping carts and we've tested door dings. Today we're going to get a chance to test the actual bullet performance. So when we first started the design for Cybertruck, the goal was to come up with something that had an exoskeleton. We had to make a custom alloy to make it more ductile. While we're at it, we also made it a bit more corrosion resistant. So this is a 300 series. Our panels are up to 1.8 millimeters thick. So actually carrying structural load, not just there for aesthetics. Obviously we didn't design it to be bulletproof, but if it works out in the end, it's just icing on the cake. So we've got a couple guns here to go through, starting with a 9mm Glock, shotgun, double-aught buck, and of course, Tommy gun, 45 caliber. So we'll get all these through tested today and we'll see the results.
Range is hot! Clear!
I was really nervous. It's hard to say how nervous I was, but it worked out. We took a Tommy gun to the side of this truck and everything looks intact. All right, moment of truth. It's pretty good. This one intense.
Yes!
Happy? So that's 9mm, 115 grain from a Glock. Looking pretty good. We got one spot where we got a double hit, and so we've got a little bit of cracking. But everywhere else, we've just got a crater. Looks good. All right, so this was an MP5. It's the same 9mm, 115 grain. It's going a bit faster. We've got only a 4-inch barrel, but an 8-inch suppressor on that. So you can kind of see, obviously, a bit more tighter grouping, but yeah, still no penetration, so looking good. This is a 12 gauge M4 shotgun with double-aught buck. Took 5 rounds, held up pretty well. We had one where we got 2 of the buckshots hit right in the same spot. Got a bit of a through hole there. Let's see if it made it all the way through. Well, the inside of the panel's good. There's no hole here. Let's see about the glass. Yeah, we got a little crack in the glass, but it held. All the windows are intact. Everything functions just as it did when we started here. So I call it a success. So don't believe the movies. When you shoot a normal truck, the bullets go in one side, straight through, and out the other side. You cannot hide behind the vehicle to be safe, so it's something to keep in mind.
Unless you're in a Cybertruck.